What's up, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of the Blackprint. I'm really glad that you guys are here tonight. Put this platform together. I feel like I'm repeating it all, but it's been a couple weeks since I did an episode. So I just kind of wanted to go back to the beginning a little bit, since I know that there's a lot more viewers here now, a lot more people checking it out. I put this platform together really just to be able to give people an open look, if you will, to just the different things that I'm doing with running this media platform, building this media platform, which, for those who don't know, I have been working in media for 23 years, and I've been really building this platform since 2014. So it has been 10 years. We are 10 years in, a whole decade. A lot has happened, a lot has transpired over this time. Obviously, I started with just a magazine. So, it was just kind of something I always wanted to do. Let me see. Yeah, I just wanted to open that up a little bit. So, I really started just kind of doing something that I love. I don't even know if I really like a lot of people when they start stuff and start platforms and start businesses, obviously they do a whole lot of research, and they kind of have all their ducks in a row before they get started. While there's a lot of research that I did, I also went kind of off of knowledge because I had been working in media at that point for over 10 years, and I had run a couple platforms already. So I kind of knew what I wanted to do. I had an idea that kind of popped into my head, and I just kind of took it and ran with it. Gave myself a deadline and had it up and running by that deadline. And then as things started to take off, it really was a matter then of kind of, as many people were learning on the job. Um, there's a lot of different transitions that have happened. So again, we started as just a magazine, but then that transitioned into me doing radio, which I never saw. And it's crazy because I had worked in radio before, but I never saw myself being on air. I didn't really talk a lot. I still was really like a big introvert. So it's weird that now I won't shut up. So it's kind of a cool thing. Um, and as I really started building this platform, it really started to settle in more and more. Just the whole idea of being an entrepreneur and running my own platform and being able to kind of call the shots and green light what I want and don't do what I don't want. And I can talk to who I want. I don't have to talk to who I don't want to talk to. And there's a lot of beauty in that freedom when you are in media, when you are in Black media. A lot of times we get put in positions that we feel like we have to do certain things and talk to certain people because that's what sales, or that's where the money is, or that's where the clicks are, or that's going to help us keep our job. And when you are in that position where you can green like what you want and you can do what you want and kind of move in your own direction and in your own space, I feel like that works a lot better. So this platform again was put in place really just to give you guys that inside look of what goes on, what happens. I can offer different pieces of advice, offer resources. But then the cool thing is that because I've been in media for, again, over 20 years, um, there's a lot of friends, there's a lot of colleagues, there's a lot of people who I know who are in the industry who are willing to come on and just kind of talk. It's really free, it's open platform, or in the sense that it's not really a script. Obviously when I bring people on, I do have questions that I am going to ask them, and a lot of that is going to relate to their black print, or as I guess most of the world calls it, the blueprint. So being titled the Black Print, and I know you guys see Transcending the Culture in the background. That's another podcast that I do with some family. But the whole idea of it being called the Black Print is this is my black print. People could call it a blueprint, but this is my black print, and I do what works for me, and that has worked for me. So here I am. I have a really, really amazing guest tonight. The cool thing is she's a friend to the UGB network because she's been on Transcendent Culture. If you guys have not watched Transcendent Culture, we are on each and every Tuesday. We're on at 7 p.m. We bring on kind of the full gamut of people, of us. people who are building and elevating this culture and getting us to a place where we feel like we need to be and where we want to be, and we want to be seen, and helping us to be seen. And there's a lot more that comes with it, but we're very selective, of course, about who we bring on the platform, and we bring on people who we know are encouraging and are inspiring and are doing things to really better themselves in the process. So tonight's guest has been on Transcendent Culture. She probably will come back on Transcendent Culture again. And this was Transcendent Culture recently turned a year. So we started August 25th with Mila from 702. She came on the platform. And we have run ever since. She was on the show. I can actually recall it. I was in Jersey going to see Lauryn Hill, and that was in October, I do believe it was. So she was on Transcendent Culture in October, almost a whole year later, because we are in September as of today, September 1st. So almost a whole year later, and we are back. And she has like a really, really amazing story, but we are going to talk about her Blackprint, what she feels like her Blackprint is, what works for her, and why she's been so successful in her business. I'll just go ahead and let it out, her business of comedy, because she is this hilarious comedian who I had the pleasure of meeting last year before she came on Transcendent Culture. And I just think that she's a light to a lot of people. And recently I found out some things, obviously through her dispelling it, but I found out some things about her journey that, first of all, I think it's amazing that she is where she is. And I think there's so many people who she can help. So again, that's the purpose of my platforms. That's the purpose of this network, is to bring on people who I feel can help somebody else, who can help me. Because listen, I got shit going on too. And I would just leave it at that. I got stuff going on too. And sometimes when we feel like we are bringing somebody on to minister to somebody else, they're actually ministering to me in the process, or they're ministering to my co-host in the process. If you're watching Transcendent Culture, we have Tiffany and Kat Quinn there. And if they're not ministering to me, they're ministering to one of them or both of them or all three of us. So I'm really, really excited. I really want you guys to help me to welcome tonight's guest. I'm actually going to shrink this back down so that we can get her on the screen too, and you can see our logos of the other platforms on the network on the sides. So I want you guys to help me to welcome CJ Star to the platform. What's up, lady? Uh-oh, I think you on mute.
Oh, I had muted myself because my
You're like,
noises,
So, this is really, really cool. I put this platform together because I'm writing a book, and it's called The Blackprint. So it's kind of like, I don't know what I want to call it. I don't know if it's an autobiography or if it's a memoir or what the hell it is. I'm going to just probably make up a name and say this is what it is, because I like to be different. But I'm in this place in my life, like we all are always going through a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm just in this place in my life where, number one, I'm all about purpose and passion. So like me doing this network, me doing the podcast, me being in media for so long, I just felt like it was time for me to just kind of do my thing and run with it and just trust God. And when everybody think that I'm a lunatic and I'm stupid and I'm like, because I mean, everybody, you got these degrees and you need to go get a job. And I'm like, I got a job. I work for me. And some people see it, but most people don't, because, so many people are conditioned to the job, the 9 to 5,
the Matrix,
or the 7 to 7, or the 401ks, and trust me, all that stuff is there in your life, but I think pursue your passions, and I'm so about following your passion, and I always have been. I just never really had the guts to do it until a few years ago. So listen, it ain't no easy feat, and we go through stuff. And I know there's a lot that you have gone through over the last year. Yeah. And when I saw it, and like when I saw the post, I just was like, damn, like it really just reiterates the fact that you don't know what people are going through, and you don't know what's happening in other people's lives. And the beauty of it is that through all of that, like we make shit look easy. So through all of that, nobody know. Well, I didn't know. I'm gonna say I ain't gonna say nobody didn't know, but I sure as hell didn't know. I'm looking like, damn, she doing it. Like she out here, she doing it.
I was
And
nervous
it was
breakdown.
like life was happening in the
Yeah, I was having
process.
a nervous breakdown. I can look back
Yeah,
at it now and laugh, but and in
yeah,
the midst of that, I probably have hurt a couple of people in the process. But
yeah.
here's the thing: when you're going through and you keep it to yourself, people don't really understand what you're
Mhm.
going through until they go through something.
Absolutely,
So about
absolutely.
2.5 years ago, I got into, I was put in a situation where the younger generation doesn't care about parents.
Uh,
So I was in a situation where these young kids don't care about parents and I had to leave. And in the midst of that, my career was really about to take off
yeah,
in a certain kind of way.
yeah,
Um, and I had to come to Ohio. I had to come
yeah.
back home to where it was safe,
Got you.
where my family is, and a lot of people didn't know that. So that is why my social media pages are private to this day.
I got you. No,
But
I
people
got
don't
you.
really, they
Makes
really
sense.
don't understand or get that. Um,
Yeah.
I did not, comedy found me. I did
Okay.
not
That was going to
find,
be one of
huh?
my questions. Like, how did you find comedy? But comedy
Yeah,
found you.
that's a, yeah, comedy found me. I was getting my hair done in a trailer in Fayetteville because my baby hairs was nappy. And so,
And not to cut you off, but I just want to make sure. Do you see the comments down at the bottom?
oh,
Um,
I do now. Okay, I do now.
okay.
And
I just wanted you
CJ,
to pay
yeah.
attention to it because you got some family in here that's showing you love already, and I think that's dope. Thank you so much for watching.
Yeah, hey Peggy. Yep. Yeah, that is one of my sisters right there because I do want to talk about a project that we are working on
Oh,
toward
cool.
the end. But
Okay.
but so far as the comedy portion, I was minding my business, getting my hair done in the trailer. And Goldie from the Flavor of Love. Remember Courtney Jackson from the Flavor of Love?
Yeah.
I was really just chilling. And she said, I'm loud and silly. And she said, you do comedy? And I was like, no. She said, you should. And I said, no. And she said, I'm going to put you on the stage. And I said, and if you do that, I'm going to do it. And July the 30th, 2020, CJ Star was born. But my
Wow.
nonprofit was born in 2018.
Okay.
So
So
I
now,
want people
talk
to catch that.
about your nonprofit. What's your nonprofit?
My nonprofit is called Roof's Haven for Hope. So that's RUTH apostrophe Z. That
Okay.
what
I
separates
like that.
me from the Roof's Haven for Hope that's in Indiana, because there's a
Gotcha.
shelter called Roof's Haven for Hope. So I
Okay.
have to put it out there so people can understand the
Yeah.
difference.
No, I
Yeah.
like that. So, it's a beautiful name. I like it. Tell us a little bit more about the nonprofit, or what is it that you're doing? That you're doing with
So back in the 1900s, I made a lot of poor choices. No, no, seriously though.
it.
Um,
I'm gonna say you sound like all of us, but go ahead.
no, seriously. So because of the lack of support. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Because sometimes the lack of support teaches you to build
Mhm.
support, to
Absolutely.
become the support for others.
Absolutely.
So with
And
the
I know
lack
that
of,
story very well. So,
right, you
and
feel
we'll
what I'm
talk
saying?
about that. But I know that very well. But go ahead.
So with the lack of support, I found myself being homeless. And you can be homeless not because you cannot handle your finances. You can be
Mhm.
homeless, become homeless for a lot of different reasons. And
Absolutely.
so being homeless the first time, because I've been homeless 3 times, being homeless the first time, I did not like the way my social worker was talking down on me. You don't know who I am. I used to work in
Absolutely.
the university. I have a resume, but because you're looking at me right now, I'm in a situation where my child has a mental disability that I'm still trying to uncover myself. So here it is. I'm thinking that he got ADHD and he has other things going on, right?
Mhm.
But we don't know these things at first. So, so And being homeless, I didn't like the way people was treat me. So I said, instead of me complaining, I'm going to be the change I want to see in the world. So I was working at Sam's Club in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And I was talking to one of my dear friends, Terrian Hicks, who has been I don't even call her my assistant. She has been my right-hand man since Ruth was born. I'm talking about donated 2 grand the first pilot so we could feed 1,000 people, and we did.
That's beautiful.
Seriously, we have served over 4,000 people together, her and I've had over 50 volunteers since I've started, but she is the constant one that has been. We go under bridges, we do all of that. So um one day I was just like, you know what? I want to put together some packets and I want to pass it out. And I said, you know what? I want to get clothes and I want to give it out. So before I knew it, I start talking to people, getting people to bring things to Sam's Club. And before I knew it, Sam's Club in Fayetteville became a hub for my nonprofit. And Sam's Club also was giving me money every month. And I received my first grant for my nonprofit through Walmart Company. Because if I'm working for this company, then you should be the first one to pour in to what I'm doing. And they did, and they still do.
You know how dope that is? Like to like
Thank
do you know how difficult it is to get grants and to get people to really support your
you. Yeah.
dream and what it is that you want? Like that is that's amazing. Like that is really, really amazing.
Yeah, I just want to be the breath of fresh air in real life. Now, I'm
Yeah,
not saying perfect or
yeah,
none of that,
yeah.
but
And
I like to
and you know
put on
what?
more smiles than frowns.
I think the thing that I loved about you from the very beginning is that you are a breath of fresh air. Like working in this business, and I said at the very beginning that I've been doing media for 23 years. Like this has been, there's a lot of reasons why I'm really, I guess, independent and kind of just doing my own thing and doing independent media and just building my own network and platforms and that sort of thing. Because I mean, the reality is, I have these damn degrees. Like I could go work for any media company that I want. Like I've worked for Radio One, I've worked for BET. So I mean, it's not a question about whether I can go and work for somebody else. It's that I
Mhm.
don't want to do it. There's so obviously there's a lot of benefit and there's a lot of plus, and I mean obviously there's money and all of that, but people say it all the time: all money is not good money, and all money is not good money. And as crazy as it may sound, because we all need money, we all got bills. Like I got to keep these lights on and the gas on and keep this house paid and all that other stuff. But on the same token, I'm just not willing to just give myself away like that no more to somebody that don't really give two shits about.
That's
And I found like very, very early on in media that they really don't care about you. Like they don't care. Like it's like dog eat dog. Like you competing against your own people, and everybody is hateful and grimy, and it just there were a lot of situations that they were unfortunate, but on the same token, like they were beneficial just to my thought process, in terms of like me working for these companies. And I just kind of found a way to do a lot of stuff myself. Now we all make mistakes and shit. Like we all make mistakes. We make bad decisions. Like I've been doing this media for all these years, but it never really clicked in my mind as far as monetizing it until 2014 when I launched the magazine. But mind you, by that point, I had been doing it for over 10 years, interviewing everybody. And when I say everybody, I mean everybody. I'm doing red carpets and I'm doing Soul Train Awards, I'm doing BET Awards, I'm doing Essence Fest, and I'm doing all this shit. But it wasn't about monetizing for me. It was about me living my dream and following my passion and just doing something that I love. So like through all of that, I still had a job. And it really should have resonated with me. Fuck the job. Let's make some money out of this shit. But again, it really was, and I don't regret it because like I have been able to live my dream for the last 23 years, interviewing the people that I people love, the people that I might not really care about. But it's cool because now with me building this platform, I can talk to who I want to talk to. I don't have to talk to them if I don't want to talk to them. And like I have this media platform where we got all these podcasts. I got the magazine. I'm doing the radio shows and all of that stuff. But none of it is what you'll find on. And I hate throwing out names of other platforms because then they think that I'm talking down on the other platforms, and I'm really not. It's a space out here for everybody, and it don't matter how bad somebody might think it is. Somebody love this shit. So I ain't talking down on nobody. I'm just saying that I'm doing what's for me and what I feel like people who pay attention to me want to see. And I've been successful with it. So, I mean, I think that's like a clue or a nugget to anybody that's watching it is just be you and do what you do. And people will gravitate to that. And the people who are supposed to be watching you will be watching you. But I get it. Like I get everything that you're saying, and going back to why I say I liked you from the very beginning is you are that breath of fresh air. Like I met you, and it's like you could feel, even though we're not in the same field, like obviously you are a comedian and I ain't doing nothing with comedy. I ain't singing, I ain't performing, I ain't doing none of that. So realistically, it's not any way that we could really compete against each other, but people still come to you in that mode, even when it's clearly not any competition. Like you do this and I do this, and like we're two different entities, and we should be able to work together. And you were kind of a force like that. Like let's work together and let's do some stuff and let's get on your podcast and let's do like I just thought that I thought it was really really dope. So I'm really good about picking and choosing who I keep in my circle and who I talk to and so like you came along, I was just like, yeah, she belongs in this space. And that was why you were, asked to be on the podcast, back in October, because it was just like, she needed to be on the podcast. Like, I think that what she's doing is dope. And I still think that what you're doing is dope. And what I believe too is that even though, like to you, it might seem like it was derailed because of the things that happened that caused you to have to move, but it's not derailed. Everything is happening the way that it's supposed to happen. And it took me a long time to realize that too, because I used to beat myself up a little bit like, well, why am I not here? And why have I not accomplished this? And I've been doing this for so long, but then this person is doing the same thing and we ain't doing the same thing. And it's about what they pushing versus what I'm pushing. And it's about, I guess, what technically sells and what really doesn't sell. And it all sells. You just have to learn to figure out the ways to make it sell. So that's really where I'm at. But I like being in this position. I'm so glad that I have you on the show today. I feel like I cut you off, but
no, you good. I love to talk, so we can do this all night. So what question?
Listen, we ain't gonna do it all night, but I do too, and I half the time I can't shut. So, what do you feel? Well, actually, before I even get to that, kind of take us through like the last year, because I know that you've had some struggle and you kind of talked a little bit about it on Facebook. And I would rather you kind of put what you want out there versus me saying what I've seen and all of that kind of stuff. But kind of take us through a little bit of your last year.
Well, actually, like the last year and a half. So when I got here, I was homeless, and that's why I did not want to come back here, because I knew I was coming back to, it was either be homeless or die, right? And so when I got here, my car was shot up. I just want people to hear the significance of the danger I was in. And I just feel like this, I'm covered in the blood.
Absolutely.
That's why I can talk about it. I'll always talk about my story because it's my story to talk about. But, we come from a generation where we put them hands up, and this new generation just ain't like that. And so I'm not going to let nobody kill me either. So if you want to take my life, you're going to have to come to Cleveland and thug it out. I'm just saying that was my mindset.
Yeah, I got you.
I came back home because I know I got people, you come to Cleveland trying to do anything, somebody going to hurt you, because you just can't come to certain cities looking for people. Absolutely. You just can't. And Cleveland, I got to say, is one of them. So I came back home where I know I would be safe because ain't nobody coming thugging it out. So, so I was homeless for about 8 or 9 months. I was homeless when I went to and I met Dave Chappelle. I was
Get out
homeless.
of here.
That's what we gonna talk about. How
Because I
God let
remember
me
that
know.
going. I remember when that was set
No,
up.
I've been there twice, honey. I'm not talking
Okay,
about
okay.
when I took people with me. I'm talking about they didn't meet Dave Chappelle. I did. I'm talking about when I, Charlotte, met Marlon Wayans and Dave Chappelle and Angela Yee, and we was in Chappelle's barn, and I was dancing with Dave's Korean wife, and we was hanging out the whole night. And you have to put your phone up because you can't even bring it in the barn.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
sitting right next to Chappelle, and I'm talking to Marlon, and I'm saying, I cannot be sitting here and not tell you how much your family has impacted comics. Not one time did they know I was a comic. Not one time, because I was running for my life at that moment. And I'm sitting on Donnell Rollins' porch. I was in these people's homes, is what I'm telling you. The first time I went, in the midst of me being homeless in Cleveland, I rented
Jesus.
a car. I rented a Prius to Dave Chappelle's barn. Originally, I was going to Wiley's, which Dave Chappelle just purchased in Dayton, Ohio. I went to Wiley's so I could meet a lady named Gina Fletcher, who is Donnell Rollins' god sister. She met me on Instagram. She saw my talent. She said if she came to Cleveland, we could meet. I met her. When she saw I came to see her in person, she invited me. She asked Donnell if it was okay, and I ended up going to the barn. When I pulled up in the barn, it's a barn outside, right? I have to say it like this so you can
Yeah.
understand. It's a barn like this in Yellow Springs, but there's nothing around his barn. There's nothing around his barn. It's just a
And
barn.
I'm
And
shaking my
I'm
head because I've heard a lot of this. I mean,
yeah.
obviously, I've not seen it, but I've
No,
heard it from
and he
countless
drives at
people.
the
So that's
time.
why
He
I'm
had a
shaking my head
burgundy.
as you're saying it.
Yeah, at the time he had a burgundy big Jeep, a big burgundy Jeep at the time, right? So I'm a little slow because I had been eating a couple edibles, plus I'm nervous. I didn't rent this Prius, and I didn't drove to meet people that I've been talking to on Instagram for over a year. You got to be careful with that. But
Yeah,
I was just following my gut, right? And so when
yeah.
we get there, because I'm gonna skip all the way to when we get to the barn. So when we get there, she said, look, she said, this is your time and your season. She said, for whatever reason, God have you here. She said, when you walk in this door, don't act weird because you belong here. This is where you belong. She said, and when you go in here, I want you to go straight back there to that bar and get you some tequila because I love tequila. I said, okay. I walked in and Angela Yee is right there on the turntable DJing. So
Mm.
I'm tripping because she had on all white that day. I'm tripping. I'm like, and I look and I keep walking, and I'll never forget, it was a lady standing by the bar. Now, they all knew I was a visitor because he has to approve everyone he lets in his home. So he already knew I was coming. Listen to how cold this shit is. He already knew I was coming to his home before I got there. So I go walk back there, him and Marlon Wayans standing behind the bar. I couldn't believe it. I was wiping my eyes and shit. I'm like, now we talking about a girl that had lived a bisexual, lesbian lifestyle that the people be talking about me and stuff. A single mother who
Yeah,
has a child with mental issues. I'm trying to paint the picture. And no matter what your life is, and you be who you are, God will put you where you need to be, honey.
that part,
I'm
that part,
homeless.
that part, that
I'm
part.
homeless. I'm living. I don't got nowhere to go. And I'm right here in Dave Chappelle's barn with Angela
Yeah,
Yee on the turntable.
yeah.
So now Marlon Wayans standing back there, and the lady look at me, and I freeze. I did. I froze like a punk. I'm like, because I can't believe Chappelle got a cigar in his hand. I'm just fucked up. I'm like, the lady like, so I'm like shaking. I'm shaking, telling the story because you're the first
Yeah.
person I've really told this story to in the interview. So I'm like, oh my God. So she said, girl, they already approved you to be in here. Go
Yeah.
make you a drink. I said, I don't want to. She said, go make a drink.
You said
So
I don't
now
want
the bar, when you walk in, it's like when you walk in. So people that's watching it, they've been there like, oh, she definitely been there. So when you walk in, you walk straight and it's right there, right? So I go, behind the bar and I'm scared. Marlon Wayans and them, they tall. I'm all short and little. And so they know I'm nervous. So I'm like, excuse me, I'm tapping Chappelle, right? So what do you think you gonna say to, I've been watching Chappelle since I was little. So
Yeah.
this is, for me, this is a comic that I really look up to. It had nothing to do with comedy. I got one of his seasons at my house when I didn't have no cable, honey. Me and my son was watching the Chappelle show.
Listen,
Get your
I knew
kids. Okay.
I knew from the very beginning when I first saw Half Baked, I was like, this guy is gonna do, like, this guy is doing it. Like, he is gonna do it. He's really gonna do it.
He the GOAT. So he the GOAT to
Yeah.
me. So this, what I'm trying to do, y'all, is paint how magical this moment was for me.
Yeah.
Because I am homeless. I'm in Cleveland where ain't nothing but my traumas. And God put me in a place of one of my favorite comics. Oh my God, I can't tell it no better than this, right? And so
Yeah.
I go behind the bar and I tap Chappelle on the shoulder and I say, excuse me. And he know I'm nervous. He like, what you want, baby? He got a cigarette in his mouth. He like, what you want, baby? I approved for you to come in here, so don't act weird as shit. What you want? I was like, I'm like, can I get some lemon juice? He laughed. He like, you in my house. Get it yourself. It's right here. The refrigerator right here, right? I'm nervous as fuck. This one I said, he like, look, don't be weird. You in here. Have a good time. Open up the bottle of Casamigos. And then Marlon Wayans say, with your big ass, you know, because they trying to make me laugh and shit. And then that night, I don't know if he's still with her, but that night I was dancing with the woman he was with that whole night because they knew I was, and it was cool. It was just a good feeling. It was a good vibe because that was my birthday weekend. So it had nothing to do with Chappelle or Angela Yee or Marlon Wayans. See, I'm tapping back into the spiritual realm. God gave me a birthday gift that no man could ever give me. And he said that you have purpose. And I'm going to take you right when your fruit is rotten. When people think that I am far from your life, and I'm going to place you in an environment to give you hope so you can understand. If you keep listening to my voice and you doing what I'm telling you to do, you're going to be cool.
It's amazing how,
and that's for me.
It's amazing how, and listen, I'm not gonna profess to be like the most spiritual person.
Oh no, I'm not it either. I like women too, so I know I'm not.
But I'm just saying, it's crazy how God will put you in the place where you're supposed to be so that things will start happening for you.
My
And
God.
all it took was that one person to say, are you a comedian or have you ever done comedy before? And you should do it. And that one person challenging you and you picking up and doing it and just, moving past the fear or whatever doubt was there and just doing it. Look at where it's taking you.
Man.
And like I can resonate with like your experience of meeting Dave Chappelle and Donnell Rollins and like everybody. Like I can resonate with that, or that resonates with me because like I've always been somebody who's loved like entertainment and celebrity life and that kind of thing. And not like in a, I guess, TMZ type of way or nothing like that. But I just have always been enamored by celebrity life. Now, I don't know if you know, because I don't tell a whole lot of people, but Fantasia, Casey, and JoJo are my cousins.
Oh,
So now I didn't know them growing up or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So I make that very clear. I don't want people to be like, "Oh, he grew up with them." I really did. Like they know who I was. So I have only been kind of in that mix and that side of the family really for like the last, I would say like close to 15 years. Like once we kind of all started meeting each other. And that was, and that really had a lot to do with not, I won't say parents, but like grandparents and, kind of, there have always been cases, especially going back to past generations where family don't know each other. And like my grandfather was the Barino. Now, obviously my mother was Barino, but by the time I came along, she and my father were married. So she was Johnson by that point.
Right.
My grandfather was blind. He was a musician. So music runs through the family. So there's like tons of musicians all throughout the family. And there's other celebrities who are kind of like extended through other family members and through Casey and JoJo. So I mean, there's like Stephanie Mills and other people too, who are not really directly related to me, but they're related to my cousins. But yeah, like my grandfather, he was blind. He was a drummer all his life, but he died at 85. So like in 85, I was 7 or I was turning 8 that year. So like nobody really talked about family or that side of the family. And then once he was gone, at least here in Cleveland, that was kind of like the last of the Burritos, or at least so we knew. So we never really knew anything until Fantasia went on Idol. And then it was like, she has to be. Like we have the same last name, and it's not that common of a last name that just tons of people out here would have it. So we kind of started doing the digging and the research, and then we realized that, okay, wow, so this is my cousin. So then it kind of became, well, shit, then that means that they're our cousins. And we've been listening to their music all this time. And I done went through high school on their music and never a clue. So we just kind of left it alone. Like, okay, that's our family. At least we know. And we'll just leave it alone, because the first thing that anybody is going to think is that there's an ulterior motive. They want some money and they trying to get in or get what they could get. And it ain't none of that. Like my people ain't that kind of people. So like if we trying to talk to you, is because we want to show the love, we want to show the support. That's it. And whatever else comes out of that, but we ain't looking for nothing. We don't want no money. We just want y'all to know, or we want to know, or whatever. So we just kind of left it alone until somebody on that side reached out to us and said, listen, we know your family. We're having a reunion. Come to the reunion. So then it was like, do we go or do we not go? But then kind of like in that process, I started actually building a family tree. So then once I started building the family tree, it's like it really all started coming together. And then I could see people like, oh, that's who. And then it kind of really became crystal clear when we went to the reunion. And then my mother like literally saw people who she hadn't seen since she was little.
Oh.
And then it was like, okay, yeah, it's really true.
Family.
Like it's really real. So it's kind of a cool thing. But all of that just to say, like, I've always been enamored with like celebrity life, and then kind of like my musical side with playing drums and all of that comes from my grandfather, but then that comes from that side of the bloodline because he was a drummer. And then my son plays drums and all of that stuff. So it just kind of continues, through the family line. But I have been enamored. So like that experience that you had with Dave Chappelle, I've had that experience really a number of times doing media. And like I'm happy more so because I've been able to pull this together and figure it out on my own, not working for anybody else, but just doing my own thing and building my own brands and actually connecting with the people that I like. So I've been doing this for 23 years. But my first experience was with Devin the Dude. Here in Cleveland.
Yeah.
When I tell you I ain't never been that high in my life.
Yeah, I love Devin the Dude.
I ain't never been that high in my life. And that was probably the first time I smoked some weed. And I was done.
So you couldn't hang with Snoop then, huh?
Okay, let me shut up. I was gonna say I probably could now, but my mother might be watching. But even and listen, at 47, she still has smacked the shit out of me. So I'm like, no.
Oh my God.
Definitely when I met him, I couldn't hang. I was done. Like I can't even I don't even know where the interview is. Like I really have like audio and all that stuff of all the interviews that I've done. I can't even find shit. I don't know. Because I probably ain't asked them nothing. I was so toe up that night. But it was cool, kind of like that same experience, like to have never done anything with anybody celebrity-wise. And then I start doing media and suddenly I'm like in somebody's hotel room who I've been listening to forever, and we just sit there chilling.
Just chilling.
Like it was a cool experience. And then another one I had was with Busy Bone. And the cool thing is like all 5 of them have been supportive, like with interviews and everything, like my whole 23 years. But out of all of them, I don't even know how I think I had done a review and like maybe it was some stuff I didn't like or I don't know. But I remember his publicist like literally reached out to me and was like, he want to talk to you. And what I can remember in that whole process of her saying he wants to talk to you, I'm like, oh shit, he read my review. And so like he probably pissed. So when I tell you I'm like anticipating the conversation for like a week and a half because they scheduled it like ahead. And I'm like, oh shit. And I'm like sweating bullets. And I'm like, I don't know how this is gonna go. And I just know I'd have said some shit that I probably would take it back if I talked to him. And then I'm like, I don't know. But it actually turned out to probably be one of the more defining conversations of my career. Like he turned out to be the coolest person. I think we probably talked for like 2 hours. And that was one time that we talked for like 2 hours because I've interviewed him a number of times. And from that conversation, it was like, meet me at my hotel. I'll be here on this day because I had a show at Peabody's. And I meet him at the hotel, and it's like this entourage of like 200 people, like everybody moving around the hotel and coming in and out and all that stuff. And I'm just sitting in the lobby, like, I don't know. And then that leads to me being in the limo with him and going to Peabody's and like obviously covering the show. And it was just like, I just felt like he laid out the red carpet, like for me to do this. And at the time, I'm like, who am I? Like, I ain't nobody. Like, who am I? And I'm like, I don't know. But I mean, needless to say, I was geeked from it. Like, I was just like, this is the life. Like, this is the shit. But that's why what you're saying really resonates with me because I feel like I've lived it. Like, I've lived it. And like, I'm grateful for these experiences to be able to live something that I have wanted to do for my entire life and to be doing it and on my own terms. So I don't have to answer to nobody.
It's a great feeling being independent.
Yeah. It's a lot of work, but it's a very, very, very good feeling though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But so you met him that first time.
Yeah.
And so they told you to make your own drink with your big ass, and you went on and made your drink, and then you danced with.
And we had a good time that whole evening, you know.
Wow. So like what? So what came of that? Or
I was able to do open mic at Wiley's, comedy club. It's kind of hard to get in there, and I was able to get in there and do that. And I was able to network with some comics in Ohio because I didn't know too many people. Wyatt is a good friend that he actually just came off tour with Linnell. He was opening up for Linnell a couple of times.
I love Linnell.
And that was the purpose of going to those functions though. You know what I'm saying? But see, I was in the midst of running for my life, so I never marketed myself. Nobody knew I was a comic there. To this day, Marshall Brandon doesn't know I do comedy, but they all know I can sing because I've sang at Donnell Rollins' house. So they all know I can blow. Dawn, Be Funny, all them, but they don't know I do comedy. So what's the moral of the story? I do this for fun. You know what I mean? And if it's meant for me to get where I need to be, it's gonna do that. But my first priority is my nonprofit, and so I utilize my money from CJ Star to do for Ruth. That's how CJ Star was really created because people wasn't trying to help a lesbian do God's work. And shame on y'all because God didn't ask about what was going on in the bedroom.
What
y'all asked that.
I'm actually glad that you bring that up. Like, have you always been a lesbian or?
I'm glad that you asked me that. I always looked at girls, I guess, in school, but unfortunately,
I'm laughing. I don't want you to think nothing crazy. I'm laughing because it just be crazy how similar people's stories are. So go ahead. I'm gonna let you talk. And then I'll tell you more.
But I like to tell my truth though. I was around males and y'all men could take it however you want. but this is my story to tell, okay? So I was around men that weren't men. And so if all I am is for something for a man to get on top of, I've never seen, like when my grandma needed her shingles fixed, she got on top of that roof. I did. That's all I'm saying. Some people didn't grow up with, it's not a lot of men in my family. It's not a lot of, so I used to watch men just, you know, and
Yeah.
I didn't want that. And so, you know, I got sick because if I'm gonna tell my testimony, I'm gonna tell it all the way, right?
Yeah.
So I got sick. Um, and after I got sick, I said, and they like, what sick are you talking about? So back in the 1900s, because they give a vaccination for it now. HVP, not HIV, because y'all
I
niggas be
got
messy.
you.
It is different, okay? And it can either be warts or cancerous. Mine was
Yeah.
cancer.
Okay.
So being young and not being knowledgeable and not really being into God for me, I don't push my religion on nobody else, but I'm just saying for me, had I known then what I know now, I would have just been patient. But in my mind, I'm like, I got this illness from fucking a man and I don't want no men. And that's my truth. And I also didn't want a lot of men around my son. If you wasn't his father, you wasn't gonna be around him. So I played gay until my son was grown because me and my sister had been witnessed and have been through some sexual abuse. And so for me, I put myself in lesbianism. So I laugh at people that talk about me or say different things, but you're no different than your child seeing you with several different men a year
Absolutely. And
for
and the
17 years of their life. My
and the
son,
rea-
he saw me with a woman.
and
Okay.
the reality is none of that should matter. Like none of
It
that,
should
none of
matter,
none
but
of
it
that has
did in
nothing
the
to do
night.
with
It did
false.
then when I was,
Yeah.
it did then. So that
Yeah.
plays a
Yeah.
role in with my nonprofit. So my pastor, because I've always been out, but I'm bisexual. Okay. I like men twice a year. You know, peaches and bananas. I'm a fruit bowl connoisseur. Okay. I love me a peach, but every now and then I like a little banana in my fruit bowl, and there's nothing wrong with it. Okay. I'm gonna be who I am. Like he
this is
said, you have to be who you are.
this is
I,
why I
I don't
wanted you
care what
on the
none of y'all
podcast.
think about me. Okay, all y'all some fruit bowl connoisseurs. Some of y'all is cutting off your banana to get a peach. And some of y'all is taking y'all peaches and stretching it out to make it a banana. Confusing the hell out of me. We just called this bull daggers back in the 1900s. Y'all taking this too far. I'm sorry. One of my
You
comical rants.
good. You good. But you know what? This is this is what everybody love about you though, is that like you're being you.
Yeah.
And I think that's really the moral of the story, is to be who you are.
Yeah.
Be who you are and love on yourself, and then the right people are gonna come into your space and they are
That is
gonna love on
correct.
you.
That
And
is
I think that you are an amazing person. Like, we talk about Blackprint, and obviously I did this podcast because I'm kind of trying to, I guess, really document my Blackprint and essentially what got me to the place of being happy, because I think that I've spent like a whole lifetime of being shy, being nervous, being introverted, not really talking to a lot of people, not really just being who I am. And obviously, I don't know if you and I have had conversations or anything like that, but I mean, I'm game. So, and 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 that's why I really speak about being who you are and being yourself, because obviously I spent, well, I won't say obviously, but I spent a lot of years like really running from that. And obviously, now I say obviously now because
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
I was married, and I
Mm.
have a son that he is 18 now. He's in college.
Yeah.
Um, I met my ex-wife, and it wasn't even like, a lot of people will say like, well, was that a lie, or was it? And it wasn't a lie. Like, it wasn't that I didn't like women. I like men too.
Yeah.
And like, I spent the whole lifetime like really running from that. But then when I met her, it's like we fell in love, like we was together I mean, all in all, we were together like 17 years, 17, 18 years. Like we were
Wow.
married for 12 years. So it wasn't like it was no flash in the pan type of shit or nothing like that. And the reality is, I mean, just like you looking, I'm looking too.
Yeah.
And I mean, but obviously I know where I'm at, and there's a lot that, obviously you kind of, there comes a point when you kind of start to like fall into live your truth a little, or
Yeah.
you want to live like you really shit.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I know. I'm like, I don't know if I
Okay.
froze you
Oh,
there.
I hate when this internet do that. So
That's how it
it's
was.
right. So like I think I was more in a place where like, you don't want to upset the home, or you don't want to like, you don't want to hurt your kids, and you don't want to. So I was just like, I'm good. It wasn't no kind of infidelity type of shit or no
Mhm.
nothing like that. And there's a lot of people who have like who live that like they live in that space, and they want to come out, or they want to, or whatever the case is, and
Yeah.
and for whatever reason they don't. And it finally got to a point, by that point, like we were separated, we were divorcing,
Yeah.
like, and it just, at that point it was just like, be who you are, live your truth, and who really gives a fuck about what somebody else got to say?
Yeah.
Like you,
I mean, I,
you
I
just have
wish I
to
had
be
figured
who
that out
you
in my
really.
30s, but
I
nevertheless,
listen.
here
I
I am.
mean, but I also feel that, like I said before, like everything happens the way that it's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
So like, it sucks the way that obviously it went down, and
Yeah.
it put him in a place of, whatever, of turmoil,
Yeah.
and helping him get through that, which he has, and still, kind of being that person in his life, or being in his life and being there, and
Mhm.
just continuing to live, but living truthfully and that sort of thing. I think there's a layer of respect there that you can't deny. And, that comes really with me being honest and being who I
That's
am.
it.
And
Honesty. Because I was honest
absolutely.
with my son. I
And
lived
the thing is,
loud.
like, there hasn't been any backlash. Like, I've never had to live in a space where, like, I was dating men or anything like that, and nobody knows.
Right.
So, I mean, I think that's, really the beauty of it, is that I can just be who I am and live authentically. And I'm still the same person. And he know that I love the shit out of him, and he know that he gonna get whatever he need and whatever else. Hey, cuz, listen, one of my Barino side people was,
Okay. Hey, how you doing?
hey,
Kudos. There's
hey,
a whole bunch
shit.
of down low men out here
But
living
I
honest.
but it's a lot of people who are hiding, and
Yeah.
that's where all of this stuff comes from, with diseases and all of that stuff. And it's just like, be who you are, and whoever is supposed to be there, they're gonna be there. Whoever ain't supposed to be there, they're gonna be gone. And you just keep on moving. Life is gonna go on, and like life is good. So that's kind of where I am. But that's why I said, like, when you were telling your story, I'm like, it's crazy, because it's like shit be mirroring up. It's like you be looking in the mirror. But I think it's cool though. And with this platform, it's really about the black print of me getting to that place of happiness, where like now, like I've been through the depression thing, I've been suicidal and like all of that kind of stuff, and have gotten help and all of the above. And now I'm in that place of like, I'm good. I'm not struggling. Like I done caught back up and got back to where I need to be. And like I'm living happily and doing what I love to do and following my passion. And I don't know how the hell I've been making it for almost 3 years without no job. But I've
You
been
know
doing
how.
God.
Oh,
But listen, and the power of recognizing when God is stepping in. Because listen, it be some stuff going on sometimes, and sometimes a check will appear in the mailbox, and you just be like, "All right, all right, you work fast, man." 'Cause,
yeah.
and that's gonna happen a few times. But but yeah, so that's what the Blackprint is about. So what I really was getting at before I went into that long soliloquy is, what has been your Blackprint? Like, what are the things that you feel like you have done consciously that got you to where you are now? Because you seem to be like in this amazingly beautiful space. And I think that a lot of people who have lived what you have lived, even the good, but definitely the bad, they would still be in a place of, turmoil and like craziness and trying to figure it out. And like you smiling a beautiful smile, like you
Thank you.
smiling big, and
Thank you.
I'm just like, I love it. So like, what got you here? What was your Blackprint in getting here?
Well, I got to be honest. There are a couple people that maybe a year from now, I wasn't smiling like this. They actually came into my life when it was a tsunami of emotion.
Yeah.
And they caught a lot of that, and they shouldn't have, but they just did.
Yeah. But
So
I
I
think the
wasn't.
beauty of those good people is that a lot of times, like, even though it might be hurtful,
Mhm.
a lot of times they also realize that, what's happening. And yeah, I think sometimes people get it when you think they don't.
You never know.
Yeah.
But beautifully put. But how I got here is I never gave up on me. That's
That
how.
part.
I never gave up on me. This isn't my first time dealing with a hard rodeo in life, meaning being born to a mother with bipolarism and schizophrenia. Um and back in those days, mental illness was something where they would send you to institutions and you wouldn't
Mhm.
be seen for years.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s and the 80s, they were
Mhm.
sending you away. Okay. So we'll just talk about that time frame. And so um my mom had been in and out of institutions since she was 9. And I'm saying this for a reason, because this is how I developed this thick skin. So my mother tried to kill me several times because I was a rape baby in her mind. My
Oh,
mother has disfigured my face. She's cut off my hair. She stabbed me. I've been stabbed in the head with scissors. She's tried to cut my throat. I'm telling all of this, and all my close friends know this. She tried to kill me in high school, my 9th grade year. She came to John Hay High School with a long butcher knife and chased me in the hallways. I banged on windows and doors. My friend Michael L. Jackson, no relation to the real Michael Jackson, Michael L. Jackson, he gonna be mad I said his whole name, but I don't care because it's pivotal.
right.
That was the only soul that opened the door for me. When I finally got in the door, my mother got right there with that knife. She was gonna kill me. So imagine me, I'm only 14, on the other side of this door in school, and then the social workers realized that my mother had a problem, right? But we had been saying, I had been crying out saying I needed help. They wasn't like how they are today. They wasn't like that back
Right.
then.
Right.
So I say all that to say, adversity, I have been through toughness. So when I got shot at and all this other stuff, I just always do what I do. I go into my little corner, and I don't know. I'm like a porcupine. You know what I'm saying? Porcupines have those prickly quills, but they ain't nothing but a gooey hamster underneath the quills. And that's really all I am. If you can get past the pricklies. So I just do what I always do.
I
And I
like that
just
analogy.
protect
I like
myself.
that
And I
analogy.
just made a plan. You see what I'm saying? So I gotta be honest with you. I don't know how I'm overcoming all these adversities. I have so many people that say you're such an inspiration, but I'm always crying.
But you know what it
I'm
is?
always, I'm very emotional. I tell people how I feel. I talk a lot.
I do the same thing. But you know what it is too? Just the same way that we said, you know what that is, right? It's God.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes
That's
I think I'm an angel that I forgot what I came down here for. Cause I'd be like, this is crazy right here. What the, you know,
I love it though. I'm in shock a little bit just because I didn't realize all of this. And obviously you were on Transcending the Culture almost a year ago,
yeah.
but it
And I
didn't
was
get
going
to
through hell.
but it didn't even get to this space of talking about that kind of thing because we were talking about, comedy and
Yeah.
that sort of thing. And that's why you're only my third episode of this podcast. And it sure is. Listen, I'm gonna call you Peggy too. It is Peggy.
Yeah. I love Peggy.
Listen, She said crying is healthy.
It
Listen,
is. It is.
it is. It really is. Listen, it is. That's all
I
I'm
want to give a
saying.
shout out to Peggy
That's
and
all I'm gonna say.
Jessica.
Listen, I love Peggy. Peggy got about 50
Yeah,
comments on here. I love it, Peggy. Thank you so much for
I want to
watching.
just,
Thank you
I
for
want to just,
supporting her. And at the same time, you supporting me too. So I really, really appreciate you. Thank you again to my cuz who is on here. I appreciate you popping in. Um, it's very healthy. It's very, very cleansing. Um, but like I said, we didn't even really get to that space. But like this platform, you're only my third episode, and I'm loving it because it's really allowing me to kind of open, like, not only open up to the audience and like teach people and show people a little bit more about me because I've kept so much stuff hidden for so long. So I'm kind of using this platform to be able to open up a little bit. And then again, to show people, give people an idea and kind of like an inside look to, the different stuff that I'm working on. But then also like for my guests, to be able to get them to open up and I can learn a little bit more about them because like it's beautiful to know really your story now and your journey and even the comedy journey. Like that's amazing. Like I listen to meet Dave Chappelle and Donnell Rawlings, like I really
and Marlon Wayans.
like,
Can't leave Marlon out.
and listen, but listen, I have a Marlon Wayans experience too
Mm-hmm.
because and this was because of No Static Radio.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I'm not with No Static anymore, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah,
Like, sometimes you have to grow and you have to move on and
absolutely.
you realize things and you realize that to get to the next space or whatever, you might have to leave a certain situation. And
That's
that's
right.
all it is. It ain't no hate, it ain't no love lost. And
But
I
it's
have
always the way you leave a situation that shows your character. So
absolutely,
you can
absolutely,
always leave a situation, baby. But let me tell you,
absolutely,
if you
absolutely,
leave the situation in a nasty, funky, trifling
absolutely,
way, then you
absolutely,
can never think that you're gonna be able to reconcile because the way you walk in a situation is
absolutely.
the same way you should leave
You
out.
should
So if
leave
you
it.
come in nice, you should leave
You should
out.
leave it.
But if you're
Absolutely.
leaving out nasty, then you should never wonder why words will never be expressed or said again
Absolutely.
because your
Absolutely.
ass left out nasty.
Absolutely.
No matter what the hell may happen to you, your ass
Absolutely.
was mean.
Absolutely.
All
And
right.
that's
Let the church say amen.
amen. And the Marlon Wayans experience came because of No Static Radio. And
Amen.
I'm forever grateful for that. I am forever grateful for that. And it was an opportunity to talk to somebody who has impacted our lives
Yes.
and our culture and like done so much more unimaginable for all of us than anybody
Yeah.
could ever
He the
realize.
goat.
Yeah,
Keenan the goat now. His
absolutely.
mama is the goat.
Yeah,
His
that's the goat.
father with them brass balls, he kept popping and waning in her. Them the real goats, the
Right,
parents.
right.
They was humping every 7, 8 months. Matilda had them ankles in the air. He said, "Oh, here's another one. Here comes Kim." Just popping them out. Boom. Popping out millionaires. Boom. I needed them eggs. I need that
This is
seed.
why you got
Are they
invited into his
selling
house.
that on the fucking black market?
This is why you got invited into his house. This is what.
And they don't even know this side of me yet. Oh, but I can't wait till expose it. Because I'm not in a rush to get there. Because I want my career to be forever. So I'm not in a rush.
You
I'm
cannot be in a
chilling.
rush because
I'm
it's gonna
chilling.
happen. It's gonna happen when it's
Yeah.
supposed to. It's all gonna happen in God's timing. So
Absolutely.
you can't rush it because it's not gonna happen until it's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
So I think that's beautiful. Like, what's happening for you on the comedy front right now?
I'm at the point in my career where I have to have people sign a non-disclosure form because everybody talk too damn much. That's where I'm at in my career.
So
So
that means that you're doing it then.
popping.
That means you're doing it then.
That is the truth. But what I can share always is my nonprofit. So
Absolutely.
I do currently, because I'm on a resource list in Fayetteville, North Carolina, which means the people that go to DSS, that go to welfare, social services, have access to me. And if they need help, they can call, right? So that's how I still source out of there. But I have yet to do anything in Cleveland because
Okay.
I started my nonprofit in North Carolina.
Right.
So I am happy to say that I have made a group. When I say made, I guess I asked because I'm not a creator, but I love you too, Peggy. But Peggy and Jess have teamed up with Roof's Haven for Hope, and I am about to do my first women's retreat. You are the first person that I'm telling this to out loud.
I
I
love
am
it.
not publicizing
Well,
this
all the
because,
people that's on here watch it too.
well,
So
no, it's fine. That's why I'm telling
I
it
know,
now.
I know, I know.
That's why I'm telling it now. I won't mention the day that it's happening, but it is happening this month in a private location.
That
And
is
it's been invite only. And I do that for a reason because, for one, CJ Star and Roof Haven are two different entities. So what I do with my nonprofit is not for accolades. I wouldn't give a
absolutely,
damn if nobody knew, but the people
absolutely,
that need to be helped, because when I was homeless, I didn't want a camera in my face. Get
absolutely,
that camera out my face. I'm
absolutely.
sleeping on this. I'm serious. Me and my son were sleeping outside on the sidewalk. I have
Oh,
washed up in public bathrooms and still went to work every day and ran into one of my managers that saw me live that life. And she will be coming to the retreat. So what I am doing is just okay, you have to trick women sometime, right? So I'm tricking these women into giving themselves a couple of minutes. So they're coming for a networking mixer that's going to be so much more.
yeah.
And we're going to have males that will serve us that day. It's going to be beautiful. And I'm paying for it all out of my pocket
I think it's beautiful. I think
because we need a moment. And,
absolutely.
and, and with this community that is being
Uh-oh. Oh, sure. Okay, y'all, my internet connection good. What?
hear me.
Okay, there
Okay,
you
guess
go.
what?
Good.
Okay, I was so
I
mad
just
because
said,
I'm
okay,
like,
y'all,
why?
my internet connection good this time. But I
No, it was somebody calling me, but I thought I hit the do
got
not
you.
disturb, and I'm like, what the fuck
You
is this?
okay?
But anyway, so what I was basically trying to say is, with the community of women, we're gonna have like a moment. It's gonna be titled "Hey Sis," and it's just gonna be a moment of networking, a moment to take a break. I'm gonna have a nurse there and some other things. It's gonna be real nice. It's gonna be vendors. Just gonna be a breathtaking moment for women, and that's about as much as that I am willing to
That's
say.
that's
But
exciting.
we have invited 25 women, but I think it's going to be more than that. And this is something that we're going to do every year. But the kicker is, I'm not just doing it here in Cleveland. Next month, I'm doing it in North Carolina.
That's
And
amazing.
when I'm done, it'll be in all 50 states because my nonprofit is going to be just like United Way. See, I'm going to show people what you can do. I don't
Listen,
talk about it. I be about it. And my
listen.
nonprofit was established in 2018.
I
And we've
love
been
that.
going strong ever since.
I love that.
Yeah,
Here's a question. Like when because you started it in Fayetteville, North Carolina,
I
like,
did.
is there a process of being able to do something in Cleveland now or in Ohio since you
I'm
established?
doing it here. Yeah, I'm starting with the women's retreat first
Well,
because
I
let me
mean,
tell you
is there
why.
like something you have to do to be able to do
No,
it in another state?
no, oh no, no. You just gotta have
Okay,
a tax ID number, which I have since 2018.
I got you.
Um,
Okay.
you know, yeah, you gotta be legit now.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
have to
No,
know the
I just
rules.
meant like because you started it in one state, do you have to fill out papers or do something to be able to kind of do business now in Ohio, or does it just kind of go wherever you
Not with a nonprofit, with an LLC. Everything I'm doing is not for my profit or
right?
gain. Now, if I was doing it for money, accolades, and when I actually go to the point where I want to get big grants for over 5,000, because anything under 5,000, you don't even have to have a board of directors to run your organization. The reason why you have a board of directors is because you're asking for more money from the government. I have been running my institution without any help from the government. And that's what I'm trying to show people too. Because when I go into my next phase of building my shelters, that's when I'm going to ask for that money.
Got you. I mean, but I
Yeah,
love the way that I love that you're breaking it down like that because I feel like
absolutely.
a lot of people who don't know the process.
They
And they,
don't know the
and
process.
they
And
don't
if
know that.
y'all want to know,
Right.
just feel free to reach out to me, MZ_CJ Star. You can DM me on my Instagram because I'm always on that every 30 minutes.
I
And
know.
I'll be more than happy to help you. But um there's so much help that is out here, right? And there's so much things that needs to be done. Cleveland is so big that I
Absolutely.
have to tackle it the way I'm tackling it. I am building a village with this retreat that I am doing. And
Absolutely.
so with this village that I am building, that Peggy and Jessica, that we are building together, because Jessica came to me with a village. She does that too. So that is what happens when you meet up with like-minded people.
Absolutely.
Jessica has a women's summit. She's been doing it for 2 years now. So we are really just, this is a season where women is just really just coming together. And so
Yeah.
together, we're going to take the women and then we're going to go to different places and volunteer. See, this is not like Fayetteville where I can go to one area. Cleveland is huge. It's huge. And I can't just walk up to a group of homeless people like I could in Fayetteville because it's Cleveland. They've been in, took me under. And that's just the reality of it. So I have to be a little smarter. And in Cleveland, since it's so big, I'm partnering up with other nonprofits and developing a volunteer group so we can do things like drop off this or what. I honestly, to be honest with you, I'm thinking about just servicing out of the recreations. I'm gonna say it out loud because God said say it out loud because can't nobody take it from you.
Absolutely.
So I want to put roof. I'm going to put roof in the recreational centers in Cleveland. That will be the best way to target private high poverty areas
Yeah.
through the recreational centers. That way I can get grant money from the city. And that's all I'll say. But the blueprint is raw and flawless. And if you
Listen,
want to know how you can help, please, MZ_CJ Star.
well, that actually is one of my last questions is how can I support? Like, how
Yep.
can I be of support to you?
I'm glad that you asked that. When I start really getting out in the field, helping promote, meaning, so people can know what's going on. So word of mouth, they could say, hey, okay, I know you said that you need some food, but you don't got to go down on 30th. Roof Haven is giving out cases of food and they don't care who live in your home. See, that's how I do my nonprofit. I don't care if your man lived there. I don't need to know how much money you making. You could be a millionaire because guess what? If you taking and you don't really need it, then you got to deal with that later. Not me, but I'm going to do what I have to do.
Yeah.
So if you hungry, then I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it until it's gone, right? So that's how you can help when I ask like to market or if I need you to come out because it's hard to get men to volunteer. If you could
Absolutely.
come out and just help us because we would need some men around
Yeah.
for safety reasons, and maybe help gather, some more
Yeah.
men that will be willing to get out there. And
I
that's
can,
it, really.
I mean, at the minimum, I could be there. I,
Yeah.
I still have some control over this kid of mine, so I can have him come with me.
I be making mine come too, because when I
And listen,
die,
and,
what
and
do you
he
think
loves
we
volunteering
gonna
and going out and helping. So he loved
yeah.
volunteering. So like he would gladly come if I asked him to come. So I am more than willing and able to come out and help you. We actually have a question down here.
Okay.
Have you heard of Miss Shirley Rains? She's a nonprofit on the West Coast.
I have not, but if you are willing to give me some info, I would definitely look into it, because I definitely want this woman's retreat for one. Women, we in danger. Now, this going to be a little bit of joking. I said it before, but I want to keep saying it. We in danger. These men cutting off their bananas to have a peach. Shit is getting wild. We got to come together. And that's what this Hey Sis is about. We need a break sometime. You know what I mean? A lot of us now are really going through what we're going through because we eating this 3D printed meat and it's constipating the hell out of us. I know they like, we don't never know when she's serious or not. That's the
Right.
beauty of me being a motivational speaker. I
Listen.
pick you up and then I throw your ass down. I pick
Right,
back
right,
up.
right. Listen, I love you, and I am telling people that more because we don't say it enough. Um, I told you in the very beginning, like I'm very meticulous about who I fraternize with and who I have in my space and who I have in my circle and who I bring on my platforms and that sort of thing. And there's a purpose because I think that you have a purpose. You have a beautiful purpose that you are fulfilling and you're helping a lot of people. Just even knowing without you even explaining your story and me reading your post, it helps somebody. It helps me. Like I'm going through some things in the moment and I'm kind of quiet right now because we just keep on moving. Like we just keep on moving
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's it. But all is good. God is good and
Yeah.
everything always works out. And I say I love you because I do. I appreciate you. The um I appreciate the laughter that you bring to me because
Thank
like
you.
this last week nobody noticed anything, but I needed laughter. Like I really, 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 really needed laughter. And it's helped tremendously. So I appreciate you just for who you are. I love you. I appreciate you coming onto my platform.
Thank
Um, I
you.
think this is beautiful. It's great. I think my last thing that I want you to do is to shout your social media or any way that you want people to look you up, find you, learn about you, and how they can learn more about your nonprofit. So if there's a website or social media or anything like that.
Okay, so so far as with the website, I do have a Wix website. Okay,
Okay.
I need to upgrade it, but if you want to go to my social media on Facebook, it is CJ Space R Haven. If you go on there, I'm
No,
telling you,
that's the
yeah,
RM.
yeah, the R Haven because um there's two layers to me. So I do more of my nonprofit on my Facebook
Yeah,
because that's where my bigger platform is. And my
absolutely.
Instagram I really use for my comedy. So that's where my vulgarity is.
Gotcha.
So the more the professionalism is over on Facebook. But if you go on my page, I promise you it's gonna take 15 minutes. But y'all be on Instagram and Facebook long like that anyway. Y'all be nosy. So I want y'all to be nosy. I want y'all to go on my Facebook page. I'm going to say it again. CJ Space R Haven. Scroll all the way down, and you'll see me under bridges passing out food. You'll see us in the field. You'll see what all we have been doing. You'll see the awards that I have received. You'll see that. I've been on the news. You'll see all of that. If you really want to know what Ruth does, please go on my Facebook page. Working on my Wikipedia, but it is Ruth's Haven for Hope, RUTH apostrophe Z, Haven, the number 4, and Hope. Okay, for my Wikipedia and for my Instagram, that's where the raunchy penis stuff is. Okay, that's for all my old freaks that wear Pampers like I do because I pee on myself a little bit when I pee and cough. I mean, when I cough, you know what I'm saying? And I have to cross my legs a little bit because I have forgot to put my poise
I
pad
think you was gonna
in my
close it all right.
purse. So that is MZ. The Z is for zebra cuckoo because that's what color it is.
I knew you was gonna
MZ
close this out right.
underscore CJ Star is the Instagram one. That's where you gonna see the ratchet shit. I'm got nipple pasties on in there. That is I just did a dildo party. Shout out to crackpots. Let me tell you in closing how Caucasians do sex dildo parties. They Caucasians call them craft adult shows. Walked in there to some big penises and vaginas. I said, where the fuck am I? So my career has made it. My career has made it, y'all. This is CJ Star. This is James G. Johnson. We're giving you what you need.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you one more time. I love you. I appreciate you. I think that this was perfect. We're gonna do this again actually very soon. Um,
Good.
I got a number of platforms, so I'll be all over the podcasting
Yeah.
world. But I appreciate you. I love you.
Thank
And we definitely gonna do this again.
All right, butter biscuits then to all my bitches.
Right. Listen, you have a good night.
Thank you too, baby.
All
Peace.
right. Man, listen. All right, here we go. So listen, I appreciate y'all for really tuning in. I think that tonight's episode was really dope. It was really, really cool to have CJ start on, and I was really, really serious. Like I think that she's really a light. I think that she's really, really cool. Joy Kennedy, thank you so much for watching, Joy. That's my sister. My sister is running for judge right now. Let me tell you how proud I am of her. Um, she just does amazing things, and I have spent my whole life emulating some of the things that she does because I just think that she's really, really, really amazing. And I'm happy to see her here on the platform. Cat Queen, my Cat Queen is here. I appreciate you, Cat. Cat co-hosts Transcendent Culture with me. She is really the life of transcendent culture with the trending topics. But yeah, so I think that CJ is a really, really bright light, and she does so much, even when she doesn't even realize it. Just from existing, and she's always a positive spirit. And again, she's been on Transcendent Culture, so I thought it would be cool to have her here on the platform. And I try to bring somebody on who, obviously can give us a good story, about themselves and things that they have going on, but some, people who also can inspire and uplift. And I think that she does that very well. She has, already become a strong force in the comedy world. And I mean, she's still growing. She's only a few years into this, and she's still growing, and she's doing very, very well, especially being at a place where she's already been in the same space as, people like Donnell Rollins and Marlon Wayans and Dave Chappelle. And, to be doing anything at, in Yellow Springs at Dave Chappelle's place is just really, really amazing for any comic, but definitely for somebody who is learning and who's growing and who's really just, getting their place, or finding their place. So I think that this is very well. Absolutely, Kat. Absolutely, Kat. Kat, you should listen, Kat. I'm gonna send you this link. You should come on just for a second so the people can see you. If you got a second, I'm gonna send it to you. Um, Listen, y'all gonna love Kat. Uh, when I tell you we have a blast on Transcending the Culture. Um, we are on, if you haven't caught Transcending the Culture, we're on each and every Tuesday. Oh, good. She said, okay. I'm like, uh-oh. Yeah, we're on each and every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we actually have a really good guest who's going to, we have a really good guest who's coming on this Tuesday. Artist by the name of Vontae. He's going to be coming on. He's got some new music out. And I want to say he's in the Houston area, but really good guy, really good music. He just released a single titled Stay last Friday. It came out, and it actually samples Jodeci. Um, so he's going to be on Transcending the Culture. We haven't put the flyer or anything out yet, but that should actually be going out tonight. And then we'll be pushing that, pretty strong over the next few days. Cat Queen is going to pop in just a second, but so as I was explaining in the very beginning, because I know some of you probably just popped in, I use this platform really just to talk about a lot of the things that I have going on, kind of during the weeks, the prior week, things that's going to be coming up, the process of me running this media company, and building this platform, to the level that I really want it to be. We have a number of platforms that run here on the network. So we actually have Transcending the Culture, of course, which is on Tuesdays. We have Open Letters to a Survivor, which runs on Sunday evenings. That runs at 7 p.m. Usually from 7 to 8, but sometimes it goes a little bit longer. But that runs on Sunday, so we actually had that earlier this evening. And the host of that are awesome. So they had a really good show tonight. Looks like Cat Queen just popped in. Um, we have, of course, the Blackprint, which you're watching now, and I may move that to actually earlier in the evening on Sundays. But then we also have the the bucket list. The bucket list actually started last Saturday or last Sunday. That runs on Sundays at 5, and I actually did that with my father last Sunday. So you guys can go back and watch that. That's running on YouTube as well. Um, I'm actually getting a new website together. I hope to have it up tomorrow or Tuesday, and then that'll be inclusive of everything that we have within the network. So, of course, the magazine, but then also podcasts and the new radio station, which is launching in 2 weeks. We got 2 weeks the radio station is launching, and then we are working on a 5-day a week show because we have not ironed out the exact time that the show is going to be yet, but it's going to be a 5-day a week show. So we're going to be competing with the Rickies and the DLs and everybody that's doing these shows. We're gonna have our own show, and we'll be running on UG Digital Radio. So, what's up, Kat?
What's up, James?
Kat, I love you, Kat. Like, listen, when I do these platforms or when I do these podcasts and these shows, I always be looking for your comments. Like, I love coming on. I appreciate the constant support, and listen, for all of y'all who don't know, Cat Queen is my cousin. And she is a Transcendent Culture. We also on Transcendent Culture have Tiffany or Tiff Tiff, as many people know her, my cousin as well. So each and every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the three of us are together. We are here on the podcast, and we bring on everybody from celebrities to entrepreneurs, people in the city who are doing amazing things, some politicians. We
doctors, stars, producers.
We're doing a lot with doctors, kind of related to breast cancer, as she's a breast cancer survivor, and rheumatoid arthritis. Joy down there in the comments. She said, "Hey, Kat."
Hey, Joy. I was I was commenting on there. Hey, Joy. I was in the comments. I always got to tear up the comments whenever I come in.
Yeah, listen.
Yeah.
That was a really, really good show. Or that was a really
good show. I really like CJ. CJ is very funny.
Yeah,
very energetic.
When I was in Jersey. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a good day.
It's been a good day for real. I keep thinking it's like it doesn't feel like a Sunday though. It really does not. It feels like a Saturday, like tomorrow's Sunday. It
really does, but well, I think too because the holiday is tomorrow.
So, yeah. You got any plans for the holiday, James?
Not really. Outside of, I mean, I'm quite sure I'll probably go over my mother's at some point. I'm not sure what Joy has going on. I don't know if Elijah went back to the dorm or not, or I don't know. So I'll figure all of that out. I know that I am going to go out for a couple hours tonight at Uber because it probably should be busy.
Listen, people are out tonight. They are out. I've seen it. There's a lot of events going on. It's a lot of parties, especially in Cleveland. It's a lot of birthday parties going. So yeah, I was gonna go out, but I decided to kind of chill with the family. So I made some nachos. We've been having some drinks, and we about to watch A Quiet Place too. So.
And I'm doing the Labor Day parade tomorrow with Joy. So that I do have that going on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I know you guys do the parade. What time?
Because she's running for judge.
Yes, exactly. I remember you guys did another parade. We had the
Hey, Joy, I'm glad you're still on here. What time is it starts at 10 or 11?
At 10?
It starts at 11. I think it starts at 11.
I might be able to stop through. So send me the info because I would love to. Definitely, really awesome. I love to support.
That would be awesome.
Joy is an amazing person, and I believe in her platform and everything she's trying to do. So yes,
she said she should be able to stop through. Joy, what time does it start? I think it starts at 11. And we do it. I mean, of course, she's running for judge, so we'll actually be in the parade.
Right? Yeah. It
starts at 11.
I haven't been in a parade since I was. Team.
Yeah. She said it starts
So
at
yeah.
11.
Okay, yeah. I throw some Tootsie Rolls to the children.
Alicia Barnes says, so proud of you, sis. Oh, come on, cuz.
Come on through. The more the merrier, right?
I know. So yeah, so I am doing that tomorrow. And then I'm sure at some point I'll drive Uber because Uber usually jumps on a holiday. And yeah, that's it. But it's been a really good day. They did for the high school that we graduated from, Shaw High School, they do an all class reunion every summer.
Okay.
And it's usually the last at the end of August. So they had their picnic today. So I went to the picnic. Joy and I, and we had on her t-shirts today. So we walked around, and it was a really good day. My father graduated from there too, so I actually saw him left the park.
Oh, really?
And Elijah came up, which was kind of cool because then some of my classmates from high school got to meet Elijah.
Oh, that's so cool.
And then my nephews were there too. So it was a really, really good day.
I love when schools do the all class reunion because I feel like that's better than just, trying to class by class. I think that, you get to see everybody and meet everybody. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then I did, open letters. I stopped at my mother's and I slept probably for about a half an hour. And then, got up and shot home because I had to do open letters at 7. Which went really, really good. They had a really good guest, Luciana Black, was on the show today. So
okay, I'm gonna go check it out because you guys know you can always watch the show after the fact. Everything is on UG Digital and on YouTube and also streaming on the Facebook. So if you ever miss a show, go back. I like to rewatch all the shows in the morning with my coffee. So like if in the morning I wake up, I'll put on open letters. Do me some coffee while I'm getting ready and stuff like that. So you guys make sure you can always watch and support and fit us into your schedule,
so yeah. So open letters, cause it's a mental health type of a platform. There are 3 young ladies who are hosting on there. There's
Lady Poet.
Yeah, Lady Poet, Cassandra Williams, and K-Love. So the three of them, they come on, they bring on different people who can talk about different mental health topics. They offer different resources that people can utilize, if they are in need. And it's really just kind of a healing type of a conversation that they have every Sunday. It runs on our Facebook pages, but then it also runs on our website, ugdigital.com. And that's every Sunday.
It's on UG Digital on YouTube, right?
It's on YouTube as well. And yeah, we usually post, I usually will post all of the links and the flyers on social media. So my Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all that stuff, just so people have the link to watch. But every Sunday it's on, and then I can actually make sure that I send you the link so that then it'll pop up for you on your Facebook page on Sundays when it comes on. But that's every Sunday.
And it's such a therapeutic podcast. Like it is really, if you're somebody that deal with trauma or anxiety or depression or even going through therapy, it's something that I feel like is a good addition to those things. Like when you're already trying to, get through those things and become a better person, it's a very good positive podcast that can help you express those emotions. So I would tell everybody, make sure you're watching Open Letters to a Survivor.
Yeah. And then with kind of going along with the title, they have a letter that they write. One person within the group of ladies, they'll write a letter every week that's kind of to themselves. And they read that letter over the air. And then they'll talk about that as well with the guests that they have. They also have a pastor who comes on and he kind of gives a kind of like a word of motivation at the end of the show. And just a lot of different things that they try to offer, different resources that they try to offer to help the viewers deal with things that they have going on. And then sometimes they'll, viewers will reach out to them and they'll kind of go back and forth. And kind of talk and see how they can help them and that sort of thing. So just something new. I always thought that it would be good to kind of have something on the podcast network that was related to mental health, since we all are kind of dealing with stuff all the time.
Right.
I just thought it would be a good thing, and they do very well. Their numbers actually are looking really, really good, considering they've only been on for a few months now. And Lady Poet, like, this is her baby, is her passion. So like, she is really putting a lot into this, and they all are. Cassandra's doing amazing work. K Love is doing amazing work, and then you could tell that it's ministering to them as well. So it's not like, they're the only ones helping somebody; like, it's helping themselves as well. And a lot of times that conversation and just being able to open up and talk to somebody, and somebody actually getting it and understanding what you're going through and not judging you and that sort of thing, it helps a lot. So they're doing very well. I enjoy it. And all I do is kind of moderate the podcast. I'll kind of monitor the comments and that sort of thing. And then sometimes I may actually be on the podcast if they need another voice on there or somebody to kind of chime in. And I'll do that as well. But ultimately, for the most part, I'm really just moderating, as I do with anybody that has a podcast on the network. Of course, you probably know, cuz, that we have Transcending the Culture. That's with Cat Queen, myself, and Tiffany, who isn't on here tonight. But
and I wanted to give Tiff a shout out, because I'm about to hop off of here because my tacos are smelling good.
Listen, I'm getting ready to go too, because I got to hit Uber, but I just wanted to talk for her.
But I did want to give a shout out to Tiff, our other co-host on Transcending the Culture, Tiffany. She threw an event this weekend for her Eastern Stars breakfast, and it was amazing. I'm very proud of Tiff.
That's cool. Is that what happened Saturday?
Yes.
Okay, so I did know a little bit about it. We didn't go into a whole lot of detail, but I was down there. I Ubered somebody to Massillon on Friday.
Oh, okay.
I was like right by her house. So but she was at choir practice or whatever. But that's dope though. So she actually organized it all?
Yeah, she organized, and it said her name at the top, her and her friend Farrakha.
Oh, that's dope.
Her friend Farrakha. And so they performed, her singing group performed. They did a lot of gospel medley. Cousin Diane Millirons brought the house down, of course, as always. And they had food, and it was a really, really positive experience. I really enjoyed myself. And Tiff has been stepping out of her comfort zone and organizing a lot of these events and things. She did the family reunion and stuff. So I just want to give all the shout out and praise to our other co-host and cousin. You're doing amazing, sweetheart. Keep it up. If ain't nobody behind you, no cat gonna be behind you. Gonna be behind you and support you. So
we got to get her to talk about it on Transcending on Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about it. I'm going to post some pictures and videos of the event tomorrow, because it was really positive and amazing. And Tiff, you did a wonderful job. I really enjoyed myself.
That's dope. I'm happy for her. That's really, really dope. I will send out the information for Tuesday's guest tonight.
Okay, so I wanted to be able to do my promo and stuff. So
yeah. So I'm gonna send that out tonight so that we can go ahead and start promoting that. And then I sent out some more emails, like as far as people coming on. And
we gonna have some guests for y'all. I'm telling y'all.
Yeah, listen, we got a lot of good stuff happening. Since we have the relationship with Troop now, and a little bit with Silk now.
Yes.
They are coming to Cleveland. They're coming to Cleveland, and it's a whole bunch of people. It's like Troop, Silk, Jagged Edge.
I know it's some kind of I forget what they're calling it, but it's
called the R&B remix tour.
Remix tour, yeah, I saw that.
So I'm working on getting.
We're gonna have to get with them,
because we should be able to do some in-person stuff. So I actually have a studio location that I'm probably gonna rent out, so that once we get the people booked, then we have somewhere to actually take them. So actually do like the live podcast and everything. So that's going to be coming up. I just need to see what day the show is and kind of start getting all that stuff in place. But we should at least be able to get Silk and Troop. And then I'll work on like the other groups and all that stuff. So I just wanted to give you the heads up on that. Everybody who has been on here tonight, because me and Kat, we finna sign out of here together. But listen, I appreciate you guys. I really love doing this platform. This is only my third episode because I haven't done every week consistently just because some other things have been going on. But I'm actually moving into being here every week. Mapping out the exact time that I'm going to continue running. It will not be this late anymore. More than likely, it's going to be earlier in the evening. I just need to figure out what time I'm going to put it in. So it's either going to be at 4 o'clock or it's going to be at 6 o'clock, but it'll probably be at 4
okay.
or 3:30 or something like that, because I do the bucket list at 5. So,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I do the bucket list at 5, and then 6 to 7 is kind of like that breather, and then I'll do open letters.
Open letters.
After open letters, and potentially bringing some more people in to do some shows, and then still working on everything to get the radio station up and running in the next 2 weeks. I got 14 days, so I'm ready, because now the entertainment plug is slated to come back on the 28th. I think it is.
Right.
I got the flyer done already. I think it's the 28th. And working on getting some sponsors and some money in here and all that kind of stuff.
Just give me my money.
Anybody who feels like they want to support, listen, it's always appreciated. You guys can use the company Cash App is UG Digital. And that's just anybody who wants to. But we keeping it moving. Whole lot of stuff happening. So, Kat, I love you. I appreciate you. Cousin Michelle, love you. Thank you so much for coming on here. Thank you for being a tremendous support. Felicia Barnes, thank you so much for coming on here. Joy, I love you. Thank you for coming on. I'm trying to make sure everybody who knows. I'm trying to make sure everybody know that I love them. I'm in this space right now, like telling everybody I love you. I love you.
Right? Yeah. You sound like me. You sound like me when I'm drunk. I love you so much.
the only difference is I'm actually sober. I'm just like,
no, that's the
matters.
best. That's the best. You gotta love
it
on your
matters,
people.
and just it matters. And in these days, I'm becoming the more emotional person, and like everything be making me cry now. And like Elijah called me this morning and told me he made the baseball team, which I mean, I knew he was going to make the baseball team because he got a baseball scholarship, but I knew he was going to make the team. But he made the team, and you could see he was happy, and I'm in the car crying, and I'm like, oh God, like I'm trying. But I love you. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for always watching. Thank you for sharing everything. I can never do it right, but
the new one? This is the new one.
Listen, okay, let me not try nothing new. But listen, we gonna talk, and everybody, I will be back next Saturday. It is gonna be at 4 o'clock next Saturday. So I have a guest actually already lined up. So I'll start putting that promo out. Transcending the Culture is on this Tuesday. We got a whole lot to talk about, trending topics, hot topics, whatever you want to call it. We have an amazing guest who's lined up. We will start promoting that tonight. Open Letters to a Survivor is back next Sunday at 7 p.m. And I'm working out somebody for the bucket list for next Sunday as well. So the bucket list, Lachelle, I probably should have told you about that too. That is because I've been in media for 23 years. The bucket list is just about me connecting with the people who I feel like they have helped me in my career and on my path and in my journey, and like people who I have looked up to. Some of these are regulars and some of these are celebrities. And we had one of the singers from the Manhattans last week. Zero Austin. You can actually find that on our YouTube page as well. UG Digital Media and Publishings on YouTube. If you pull that up, that interview is on there. And I actually did that with my father. So you can check that out. He was on last Sunday, and then I didn't schedule anybody for today, but I will have somebody for next Sunday though. So I'm working that piece out now. I was trying to get Calvin Richardson. And I've actually a bunch of times. And I know his publicist was working on it for me, and some other people who I ain't gonna mention yet who I was trying to get. So we'll see who I end up having next Sunday. But appreciate you, cuz, love you, and I'm gonna let you go. I appreciate everybody for watching. And I will see you guys on social media, on Instagram, and we'll be back here on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock with Transcending the Culture.
Be here.
All right, cuz. Oh, wait a minute. Look, I'm moving too fast. I'm like, I'm not doing everything right. All right, cuz I love you.
Love you too. Bye.